Alright guys, today's the day that we're going to bust out and put the garden in. So we've got all of our starts. We've been in the greenhouse getting all good to go, and so there's everything we're going to plant today, and we'll go over that once it's in the garden. Just wanted to give you kind of try to get you closer step by step of how I do things. So might be a little bit of a learning curve here for me, but I'll try to break down everything that I'm doing. So here's the garden. I fluffed it up probably a week and a half ago. I fluffed it up and kind of moved it around just to kind of get it ready. I went and bought some steer manure that we're going to dump up in there, and then we're going to take our mini tiller, our mini electric tiller, and we're going to till that in. I do have to say that I've been doing a lot of research on gardens the last couple, 2-3 weeks. And there are a lot of things that I'm doing wrong that I'm going to change next year, and the reason for change next year is because there wasn't the time to make the changes this year. One of them being homegrown, homemade compost. I was not aware of how important that is for your garden, but that stuff is supposed to go in there like months prior to you planting your garden. That way it can kind of decompose and the worms and stuff can move it all around and stuff in your garden. So this year's garden is going to be kind of a, what's the best way to say it, half thrown together kind of way. It's kind of the way I've done it in the past, but I know it's not really working as well as it could, but I didn't have the time to do it as I would be next year. So we're going to have the compost next year. I've learned a lot about fertilizers, which vegetables you put kind of clumped together and which ones you don't, because some vegetables like more nitrogen than other vegetables, and some of them you don't want to get too much nitrogen because then they put all of their effort into the foliage and growing new leaves and stuff when you want it to go into their fruits. So I've really learned a lot this year on research, but like I said, I just didn't have the time to take effect. So I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm going to do this year, but next year is going to be a completely different garden, and hopefully we'll get way better results. So let's get started. Like I said, we'll go ahead and dump the fertilizer in it, and we'll get it all tilled in, and then we'll go from there. So I've got all the bags on there all spread out. I got a good couple inches of compost and manure on there. We're going to go ahead and rototill it in there with the little mini, what is that, the mini mantis tip. What do you call it? A valuable tip, might be some people. I learned last year or the year before that before I till, it's probably a good idea to pull all of my drip lines, sprinkler lines out, because last year I thought, oh, I'd buried those deep enough and I was good to go. Well, one of the little tines on the little tiller there caught just a little bit of my sprinkler lines, and it ripped all of them out and ruined them, and it wrapped them around the tines, and I had to cut them all out and lay all new sprinkler lines. So a tip: pull your sprinkler lines out or mark them really well so you don't ruin them. So okay, let's go, and we'll go ahead and till that in, and we'll get the after. Okay, so here it is after it's been tilled for about 15-20 minutes, going back and forth. I went back and forth this way, and then I went back and forth this way, just trying to fluff it up the best I can. So now I'll kind of smooth it all out with the garden rake, and then I'll go around and I'll put all the sprinkler lines back inside, tuck them in, make them all look pretty, smooth it out, and then we'll start planting. Alright guys, so here's the garden. Here's what it looks like. I kind of pre-rearrange everything the way I think that would best fit as they grow up and things go. So what we've got is the first row here are the bell peppers, or the first, see, look at that, got a substitution request already. So okay, first 4 bell peppers, 2 Anaheim peppers, and I forgot the name of that one. That one is, it looks like a jalapeno and it tastes like a jalapeno, but it doesn't have the heat of a jalapeno. Those are some beans, and then I've got, it looks like 6 tomatoes right there. And the tomatoes and the peppers, I will put the little baskets around so they grow up nice. In the back here we have squashes and pumpkins, zucchini, cucumbers, and I forgot what that one back there is. But anyway, the way it works really well for these, because they'll grow really long. What happens is I get them growing really good, and then they fall off the back of the planter, and then they will grow along the ground, and they will just like take up all this gravel over here. That way it's not up in the center of the garden choking out everything else. I put them towards the back. Usually I put them on the front, but it gets really hard to mow around those, so we're going to try the back this year. Usually it goes on the front and then they go all the way around. So we're going to do the back, plus it gets the heat off the fence on warm days like today. So we'll go ahead and get those planted up, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, so here we are wrapping up. A couple little quick tidbits, the finished product here. So everything's all planted in the ground, watered up. Got the tomatoes on their little basket things that help support them. One thing I did this year that I haven't done in the past is I put lime in the soil, and I just used pelletized lime, the stuff that I put on the yard, because I didn't have the money or have in the budget to go get the powdery lime I think that you're supposed to use. So I just used pelletized lime this year, and we'll see if that works. But here it is, all all good to go, and we'll give an update as it grows and whatnot. But a couple other things I do want to share was like watering your yard and stuff like that. What we've noticed over the time is, I don't know, I think our yard looks pretty good, but if you fertilize and lime on a regular basis, the lime is depending on your soil type. Like we have high clay here, so we have to lime a lot to get it to break down, but you use a lot less water. Like when we first put the sprinkler systems in, I was running like 20 minutes a zone. We were watering for like an hour and a half, and now I only run like 5 minutes a zone, even in the hottest part of the year. And that's just because, come to find out, if your grass is fed properly with the proper fertilizer, it doesn't need as much water. And so like this is only like 4 to 5 minutes of watering. So, and the other thing you guys always ask about are the blueberries. So let's go check out the blueberries. Here's the blueberry plants. You can't really see them. There's one right here. There's 4 of them total. And these I don't even fertilize. I don't need, they're in the middle down there somewhere. There's a sprinkler, and I haven't fertilized those in like 4 or 5 years. And you can see like this branch right here, you can see all that new growth on there, and I'm not even fertilizing them. So that's what you call organic berries. And then the other thing we have a lot of that have been like taken off over the years is our strawberries. Whole bunch down here. What I did is I threw a couple clumps back behind there, and they've been just growing out like crazy. Strawberries are one of those things that you can just throw anywhere. You don't have to really cover them up. You just throw them, and then they just take off. And so here's the other ones that, oh, I don't know, 6-7 years ago I had a hanging basket. Where's that? Right there. And it had like 4 or 5 strawberries in it, and they had trailed down and they hit the ground, and they grew in the ground right over here. And 4 or 5 years later, this is what we get. And you can see there's tons of red strawberries in there right now. Grace is picking off like probably a pound every day. She's picking off that are ripe, and those are the same way. As very, very rarely, I don't even fertilize those. Like if it's really, 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 really hot in the summer, I might hit them with a hose for 15 seconds, and that's it. And so basically that's our garden. That's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up the video if you like these kind of tips and tricks and basically what I do. And so if there's something I'm completely doing wrong and you're like, hey man, that wasn't even right at all, you should be doing this instead, please put a comment below and let me know what's going on, because it's your guys' tips and what I do research on and everything that makes these good videos, I guess.